There we go. So we were talking about drowsiness and how important it is to make sure that we're getting enough air. That in fact, that's the major problem, not just with meditation, but office workers in general. They've even gone so far as to say that they've had surveys, or let us say controlled experiments, even double blind experiments, where they were testing the effectiveness of group therapy versus individual therapy versus pills, which is all the world of the psychiatrist and the psychologist, and mapping that onto exercise alone with the quality of people who were stressed out or in depression, because stress and depression are deeply related together. Guess which one? One. The answer is exercise. Why is exercise so valuable for the change of depression and anxiety? Because exercise forces people to breathe. That office workers will be better off in that slow part of the day if they'll get up and go take a walk enough to where they can get their breathing going again. If the bathroom is sufficient distance away from the desk, then that may be enough alone to just go to take a potty break, and when you come back, you can think again. Why? Because on the way during that walking, the body started taking in more air, started oxygenating things. So that's the very big number one. There is a second quality that needs to be looked at with drowsiness too. And that is, even though the mind is getting enough oxygen, still it has not been exercised very much in the past, and therefore is, let us say, not really fit for work, in the sense that if you first start going to a gym and have a good trainer there that is guiding you along, as you progress, you'll be able to pump more iron. You can lift heavier weights for longer periods of time. But if you stress yourself out with it, then the next day or two, you're really, really tired and your muscles ache and all of that, and then you don't want to back exercise. So overdoing it is the wrong way. We have to progress. But that also happens with the mind, and we can talk about it in the sense, well, how long can we manage it? Generally we start at about 20 minutes and then start working up. The reason that we're working up is because we're actually working towards how long is it before the mind gets really dull and tired and not capable of being mindful of the breath. So there will be coming a point in meditation. Your part of your job now is to recognize when that point in time comes. When, even if I'm fully oxygenating the mind, is it also already tired and not fit for work? Now, there are several things that will help getting it energized, re-energized. One is to mindfully stroke the arms to generate some sensation, to get that part of the mind woken back up again, to wake up the body, rub the face, even wash the face. Another example would be to stand up or to even do a bit of walking meditation and then come back and sit down. And if the dullness continues after that, then one of two things is: one, either you were really tired before you sat down, or you have come to the limit of the meditation for now, and now is the time to take a rest. So you have to learn where your limits are. Don't push yourself beyond limits. But right up to the limit is quite okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So those are the two main things. One is to make sure that it's oxygenated, and number two, understand that the mind does get tired, but that you're exercising it in a way so that it will get less tired on a less frequent basis, so that you can begin to meditate for long periods of time without the mind getting tired. Another way of looking at that tiredness would be boredom. And boredom and restlessness are very, very interrelated. So tiredness and boredom and restlessness often work together with the kind of thought of, oh, it's not good. I want out of here. This is, you know, and so after you have that a couple of times and you say, never mind, I've got some rapture here. We're going to bring that stuff back again, but it keeps falling into that real dull state. Then you say, okay, time to give it a rest. We have rest. We have beaten on this horse long enough, and it will not get up and trot. So it's time to give it a rest.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
okay. So find where that point is, and that would be the answer to your question about doubt. Hang on a second. Let me go see what my friend just said here. All right. So yeah. All right. I'm beginning to learn Skype. It takes a long time. Hard to teach new software to old dogs.
Never too late to learn.
All right. So I think that we fairly well covered the whole issue of
Yeah,
tiredness. There is another quality that is close to that, we can also mention, and that is that feeling of what's the point? This is the kind of feeling that is more associated with doubt, but it winds up with, why should I bother practice? Why can't I just sit here and sort of put the time in for meditation and at least get the time out of it? But why do I have to keep working at bringing the mind back to the breath? In other words, this is the difference between tiredness, which is normally called torpor. This is the quality that in the old English language we would call sloth, or another way of calling it laziness, or what's the point in all of this mentality, which is also a hindrance because it prevents the student from being able to gain that rapture that we were talking about, which is the benefit or that skill, that joy of, aha, I've caught you. That can-do attitude, that build up, that is there right in the sutras, and Bhikkhu Buddhadasa is right there with it to make sure that the students understand that this is to be practiced, is to be cultivated. That gladdening the mind is represented in the sense of that joyous quality of, aha, I'm going to get it. Except that in this case, it's no longer the sensuality or the physical world that we're wanting to get something with. It's sort of like the euphoria that a real estate agent would have once both parties signed that contract, and the real estate agent says, aha, now I've got my commission. I have worked for 6 months on this commission, and now it's mine. I've got it. Okay, that's that feeling. That's the rapture that we're looking for. That quality of taking it out of the sensual world and putting it back into the mental world, or the world, the super mundane world, is that, aha, I can manage this mind. Aha, I do have power over it. Aha, I've caught you. Aha, I can see the mind wandering away. Or aha, I can see these feelings. And we get robbed of that if we have that, well, never mind, there's not much in meditation. I'll just sort of sit it out kind of thing, waiting for the bell to ring. That is what we call sloth, or a don't care attitude, or maybe even call it lazy. Now, I've got a different word for lazy. Lazy is what the Dhammarato does when he leaves the world. So in that case, this kind of rapture is also kind of a laziness, because we're getting that rapturous can-do high, that emotional zeal that we love so much, that comes from that quality of being successful. But we can generate that ourselves within our own mind. We do not have to be that real estate agent out getting that contract. We do not have to be that hot dude on the make. We can get that, and we do not have to have it in the sense of being a race car driver, because that same thrill of there's a point in the race when the guy who's going to win the race knows that he's going to win this race. And that's when that rapture starts. Right before he even hits that finish line, he's already in the mentality. And so this is what we're looking for to generate, but we're going to do it on the spiritual level of being satisfied with the way that things are right now, that we're really on top of it. And to cultivate that feeling, to have it often, to allow ourselves to have that rapture that then kind of melts away into a satisfaction. The satisfaction is real contented, real happiness. It's kind of that moment after it. So that's the way that we're looking for. That's step number 5 and 6 of Anapanasati. And I haven't talked to students very much about that, because what we're really looking for is the quality of the feelings being a mental conditioner, in the sense that the feelings condition the mind. But in this case, we're not kind of dividing feelings from the mind. We're actually putting it more of a unit, so that we can see that this point of rapture has actually both physical and mental components built into it. And that's why it's so exhilarating. And we're wanting to have that point of exhilaration, that point of, in the Hindu, they talk about it as Kundalini rising. And they can feel like things just start vibrating or tingling all over the body. That's the kind of thing that can be associated with these feelings of big success. And so this is what we're looking for, to cultivate, that whenever you recognize that the mind, in fact, is tired, by saying, aha, I can see you, tiredness. There you are. Let me take a deep breath, and I'm coming right out of it. Okay? So you can use rapture itself now to lift yourself right out of that tiredness.
Okay.
To start using the Vedana, to start looking at these feelings, begin to cultivate them. That I normally stress the word joy, but if Bhikkhu Buddhadasa is talking about it in that sense of the rapture, or that aha, I've got it moment, and then putting that into the practice so that it's no longer worldly or sensuality oriented, that in fact what it is that it's a mental process to bring that exhilaration up, because then it is satisfied and it comes down to that state of happiness, that sukha. And so when you have, so now we're dealing with two different, they're referenced as one hindrance, and it's labeled as sloth and torpor. But now we know that there's one kind that actually is just a poor mental attitude, and the other one is the mind itself is having a bit of trouble. One's an attitudinal issue, and the other one is a real physiology issue. So taking deep breaths getting that aha, I caught you, and use that power of the mind to accelerate the mind to come out of that tiredness. And if you come to that point, if your tiredness also looks like that it's not just torpor or sleepiness, but is in fact uh, sloth in the sense of I don't give a flying rip anymore, then note that too. Recognize that and say, aha, I caught you too. I can see that hindrance. And so that hindrance can be really rushed out very easily with this issue of rapture or the word pity. I still don't like the word rapture, other than the fact that we really get wrapped up with it. We really want that thing. We've got it now. That's the whole quality that we're looking for is, aha, I've got it now. And that quality of happiness and success at that level will really trounce on that tiredness of the mind. It'll really start to invigorate it again. May not last if the mind is truly tired, and it'll fall back down. But after a couple of three times of doing that, you say, "Okay, enough of beating that horse with all of my joy. Let us give it go to take a nap or something."
Okay.
All right, excellent. This has been a short one, but it's been good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All righty, we'll see you.
See you.